안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Friday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon-soa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-festivals, K-sports, K-everything. And we're going to do all of that together with our Friday co-host, Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa. And hello to everyone joining us today on The Culture Wave. I'm Bella, here to co-host and fill you guys in with the latest in K-entertainment.
Bella, have you been to any of the flower festivals recently?
It is the season. It's the spring season, the flower. I mean, I haven't been to any festivals yet, but I do live near Yeouido, which is one of the top places for cherry blossoms. So, you know, I see a lot of cherry blossoms when I drive by.
Oh, lucky you, because actually the Yeouido Cherry Blossom Festival, the iconic one here in Seoul, has not yet opened because it has been postponed from this Friday to Tuesday next week, of course, because of the political situation here in Korea, and also many people still out on the streets in Seoul. Yeouido, of course, also being the place where Parliament is located. So not yet at the festival, but as you said, the blossoms are already blooming.
Yes, and nevertheless, there are still places. There's already still places where people can enjoy this cherry blossom to the fullest, right?
Right, and we're actually going to check that out in our following report. South Korea is known for its spring celebrations, and earlier this week we had our reporter cover the Azalea Festival in Bucheon, and now it is time for the cherry blossoms to shine. Our news features reporter An Sung-jin was at one of the country's major cherry blossom sites down south. Let's take a look.
Spring has returned. Streets filled with cherry blossoms greet those who have made their way to Jinhae district in the south coast city of Changwon. The 63rd Jinhae Gunhangjae, which lasts for 9 days, is the mecca of spring cherry blossoms, with more than 2 million visitors every year.
The cherry blossom, a symbol of spring here, is already reaching its peak here. People are out here with their family and friends to enjoy the beautiful colors and its scenery.
We're so happy to be back in Jinhae. We were here in 2013, just the two of us, and now we're here with our 3 kids. Beautiful weather, and the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. It's beautiful.
I am so proud that in our country and here in Jinhae, there is such a beautiful spring blossom path.
We are in our last year of high school, so we originally came out here for graduation photos, but it feels so refreshing to see all these pretty blossoms.
The town's top cherry blossom spots including Gyeonghwa Station, an old closed-down railway station and its train tracks, as well as the Yeojacheon stream. Most areas in the south of the country have seen cherry blossoms bloom, yet with the sudden colder breeze in some areas, especially up north, they still need some time to fully bloom. Following the recent devastating wildfires in Gyeongsangbuk-do province, the festival has been reduced in scale. However, the festival still offers ample scenery while promoting local culture and boosting business in the small town. So for those who missed out this time around, make sure to be ready for next year. An Sung-jin, Arirang News, Jinhae.
Time now for some K-entertainment news with Bella Kim. Bella, we will start off with an update on a court hearing for the dispute between NewJeans and ADOR. Please fill us in.
Yes, so the first court hearing held on Thursday for the dispute between NewJeans, or NJG as they would like to be called, and their agency ADOR ended without progress as the two sides remained far apart on the possibility of reaching a settlement. The Seoul Central District Court held the initial hearing for ADOR's lawsuit, seeking confirmation of the validity of its exclusive contract with NewJeans. On the day of the hearing, only legal representatives were present, as none of the members attended. ADOR argued that the group's unilateral termination of contract in November 2024 lacked both procedural and legal grounds, and that their deal signed in April 2022 remains valid. In contrast, NewJeans' side asserted that trust between the parties had irreparably collapsed, particularly after the removal of former ADOR CEO Min Hee-jin, a key figure credited with the group's success. The judge asked whether the parties were open to a settlement, while ADOR expressed a willingness to pursue an agreement. NewJeans replied that the group was not in a mental state to consider a settlement at this time. Now, back on March 21st, the court granted ADOR's injunction to preserve its status as the group's agency and to block any external advertising contracts until the final judgment. NewJeans has also decided to halt all activities for now. The next court hearing is scheduled for June 5th.
So please keep us updated on the next hearing, Bella. And now we're going to talk about news that will excite NCT Dream fans. What do you have?
That's correct. NCT Dream will hold 2025 NCT Dream fan meeting Dream Quest at Inspire Arena in Yeongjeongdo, Incheon from May 24th to 25th, the first time in almost 2 years. The fan meeting will have the concept of exploration, where NCT Dream and their fans, NCTzens, will go on a quest together. The members will perform, play games, and also chat with the fans to pass this huge quest. The pre-sales of the fan meeting tickets will open on April 8th, and the general ticket sale will open on April 10th. Meanwhile, NCT Dream will attend SM Town Live 2025 in Mexico City on May 10th and in Los Angeles on May 12th.
So NCTzens in Korea and Mexico, the US, will be able to see their group here up close.
Right.
And now for our last story, we're also going to talk about a boy group, but this time it's about a new release.
Right. We're talking about TWS. TWS released group and unit photos from their upcoming mini album, Try With Us. The group photos give off this free-spirited 20-years-old vibes, while the unit photos capture the members' daily lives more closely. Try With Us is an album depicting how TWS lives the age of 20. And their agency, Platis Entertainment, said you'll be able to see and witness TWS's growth as they race towards their 20s. Their third mini album, Try With Us, will be released on April 21st.
I wish we could be racing towards our 20s.
I hope so. Or race back to our 20s.
Oh, good idea. Well, can't wait for TWS's young-spirited songs.
Right.
And thank you, Bella, for those updates.
Yes, we'll stick around.
Yeah. And now time to go over to our AI anchor, Ari, for other culture-related news. Ari, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. Jongmyo, Korea's foremost royal shrine, will come alive with the majestic music and graceful choreography of the Joseon Royal Court, a tradition that has endured for over 600 years. The National Heritage Service and Korea Heritage Agency will showcase evening performances of Jongmyo Chereak at the main hall of Jongmyo Shrine from April 24th to May 2nd. Jongmyo Chereak is a traditional Korean court ritual performance that combines music, dances, and songs as part of the ancestral rites held at the Jongmyo Shrine. It was added to the list of UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity in 2001. Tickets will be available for reservation starting at 2 p.m. on April 7th via Ticket Link. The 14th Busan Annual Market of Art, the port city's premier art fair, has kicked off a 4-day run at Mexico. This year's theme focuses on sustainability, highlighting a commitment to fostering a sustainable art ecosystem by embracing environmental and social values through art. Over 130 galleries, including 15 international galleries, are participating, showcasing around 4,000 artworks. The fair features a diverse range of works, from AI-generated pieces and interactive media art, to a special spotlight exhibition on French painter Michel Delacroix and emerging new talents. Meanwhile, at COEX in Seoul, the 2025 Seoul International Buddhism Expo and 13th Buddha Art Fair are underway, offering a one-stop glance at Korea's traditional Buddhist cultural industry. Nearly 370 exhibitors are showcasing a rich array of Buddhist content, including Buddhist architecture, tea culture, and traditional crafts that blend Korean heritage with Buddhist aesthetics. Participants from 7 other Asian countries, including China and India, are also presenting various Buddhist cultural products, such as agarwood and meditation-related items. The event runs through the Sunday. That's all from me. Keep it tuned to the Culture Wave.
And now it's time for the latest K-Sports news with our sportscaster Jason Lee, who is joining us in the studio today. Hello, Jason.
Hi,
Hello.
Jason.
So, Jason, let's start with the KBO. It's been underway now for a couple of weeks, and I think also the weather is getting warmer to enjoy the games up close at the ballparks.
Yeah.
But yeah, what have been the biggest on-field stories over the first couple of weeks?
I think on field, you've got to look at the LG Twins so far this season. Of course, they were the champions 2 seasons ago as they won the Korean series. But they've started off this year on a 7-game winning streak. And they finally lost to KT on Wednesday, 9-5. But they beat the KT Wiz last night, 5-1. So they have a league best 8-1 record. Austin Dean has been crushing the ball for the team, leading the offensive charge. He hit his league best 5th home run last night. That now ties him with Patrick Wisdom of the Kia Tigers. And if you'll remember a couple weeks ago when I was here, we talked about what are some of the bigger stories going into this season. And one of the things that I said I would be very curious about was the Kia Tigers, and would they be able to repeat as champions, especially if they run into some problems. Let's say, like, defending MVP Kim Do-young missing some extended period of time, maybe because of injury or something like that. And wouldn't you know it, Kim Do-young, after the first game of the season, suffered a left hamstring injury, and the team has been without him for all of their games since. And they're since just 4-6 on the season. They did win yesterday 3-0, which leaves them in a tie for 7th place. So indeed, Kim Do-young's absence, it's making life a lot more difficult on Lee Bum-ho. Of course, he is also missing some other players as well. They're starting shortstop Park Chan-ho. They're starting second baseman Kim Sun-bin. They're on the shelf with injuries as well. So we're talking about a team that really had very good fortune last year when it came to dealing with injuries. And that's one of the questions I had is, like, when you start to deal with injuries, because, this is a war of attrition through a long 144-game season. Lee Bum-ho didn't have to deal with it last year. They won a championship. This time around, they're dealing with more injuries, and they're struggling a little bit.
Right. Everything can happen. We're still at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely.
The rankings will be going back and forth, I can imagine.
Yeah. And I might add that Kim Do-young is now training. So he's not playing even in minor league or rehab games as of yet, but he's back up to doing baseball activities. So hopefully his leg will start feeling better maybe in the next week or so. And then I would imagine they'll start him off with a minor league rehab assignment for maybe a week or so. And then at that point, I would guess maybe towards the end of April, he could return to the Kia Tigers. And I'm sure fans are, really wanting to see him play as well because of his historic season last year. 38 home runs, 40 stolen bases, a really good batting average. So people want to see him play. And it's just a matter of hopefully he can get healthy in time to give the fans what they want.
I always try to make notes of your expectations, Jason, because everything you say seems to be happening in the couple of weeks coming up.
It's kind of weird.
Weird indeed.
Looking forward to, his return. And now on the other note, there was some tragic event that happened off-field. A fan was killed and another injured, last weekend in Changwon NC Park. Please give us a detail on that issue as well.
Yes, very tragic news indeed. Last Saturday, a female fan in her 20s was struck in the head by an aluminum piece that was attached to an office space that was above a concourse area. And that piece, it fell, that piece being about 2.5 meters long and about 40 centimeters wide, so quite a large piece of aluminum. That dropped 18 meters, and it hit a concession area before striking that fan and another who suffered a broken collarbone as well. So certainly a very tragic experience for those two involved. NC Park is actually the second newest park in the KBO, so it's not like this was due to wear and tear or anything like that. I can say that I was actually just down in Busan last weekend, and it was quite windy. So I think that might have had something to do with it, and as well as obviously inspections when they were completing the stadium and stuff like that. But what I can say is Korea is one of the most reactionary countries in the world. So immediately, safety inspections have been completed on each of the stadiums that have hosted games since, and each of the other stadiums that are going to eventually be hosting games, inspections will be completed before games are played at those stadiums in time. I can also say the KBO held a period of mourning this past Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So each of the games that were played this past week did not include your typical cheering that is found at KBO games that make them so famous. But starting tonight, the 5 games or series that will start a new weekend series, cheering will return around the league. So absolutely a very tragic event that took place down in Changwon. Hopefully we can move past it, and certainly players will all be wearing black ribbons on their jerseys for the remainder of the year to remember this event.
So condolences to the fan again. And really, safety is always a priority at these sports events. Now, Jason, we're going to move over to soccer now. Not the best news for Korea's national soccer team, as they had to settle for a pair of draws in their last two qualifier games. That was with Oman and Jordan. And so what's their status now? What are we expecting for their further games?
Yeah, Korea is still undefeated, but yeah, they've had 3 draws in their last 3 games. Certainly not the most ideal results that they wanted, but they remain just 3 points ahead of second place Jordan and 4 points clear of third place Iraq through 8 games. And that's important because Korea's next game is against third place Iraq on June the 5th. And with just the top 2 in the group earning automatic berths, a win or even just a draw against Iraq would clinch Korea a berth. And, even if they were to lose, Korea still does have another game that they could win over Kuwait on June 10th. So if they were to win that, then that's another way that they can advance as well. So yes, the draws with Oman as well as Jordan, they were not ideal, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. Korea is still in first place in the group, and the more concerning thing I would say is just get everybody healthy. Kim Min-jae, of course, did not play in any of those games. Lee Gang-in was injured in the first game against Oman, so they've got some walking wounded among their top players. It's not like they're middle or bottom players. These are 2 of the top 3 or 4 players. So certainly they need to get healthy, and then it's just a matter of just get a draw even. A draw is all they need against Iraq, and that coming June the 5th. So some time that we can go to get healthy before that game.
Let's hope that they all recover soon. So, Jason, what you are saying is we are probably going to get to the 2026 World Cup, but what if they lose both of the games in June? Even in that case?
Even in the case that they were to lose both games, because they have a 4-point lead on third place right now, there's still a good possibility. It's not guaranteed, but there's still a very, very good possibility that Korea would still advance out of the group. And even if they don't finish top 2 in their group, there's still another backdoor entrance for finishing third place that they can go through another qualifier to get through. And those would be against lesser teams that have not yet qualified as well. So the likelihood of Korea advancing to the World Cup, it's still very, very high. Korea has played in the World Cup every single time dating back to 1986. So this is a very strong historic team coming out of Asia. And yes, the results weren't good in the last 2 games, but at the same time, like I said, they're there's still a very strong possibility that Korea will advance.
Okay, that's assuring. No.
Good. Looking forward to that June 5th game that's coming
Yes.
up next. Now, let's move on to one of my favorite sports these days, golf.
Yeah.
And Sua briefly mentioned that, everything happens, as you said, Jason, right? And with golf as well, because you did say that you expect more Korean victories to come out of LPGA. And, we haven't seen a victory since Kim Ah-rim in the opening victory. But now we have another victory that just came up. Please tell us about the details.
That's right. It's almost been a couple of months, but Korea finally have their second title of the year as Kim Hyo-ju claimed her 7th LPGA victory last weekend in Arizona. Kim fired a final round 8 under 64, and that was required just to get to a playoff against Lilia Vu of the U.S. And then Kim won the playoff, sinking a 6-foot birdie putt. So a huge, huge win for her. She is now ranked 11th on the tour this year after starting the year at 24th. So great to see her climbing the ranks, providing Korea with another victory on the tour this year. But as I mentioned, last year, I think we only had 2 victories on the LPGA Tour all year last year. So already 2, just getting to April now. So it shows good signs. I'd like to see them get a major this year. I think that's the big one that we're looking for. But if we can get a Korean to get atop the leaderboard in a major, that would be great to see.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason, for all of the updates, and hope to see you.
One final thing I
Sure.
will quickly mention while we're talking about golf is the Houston Open on the PGA Tour. A Korean, Lee Min-woo, won that event. I shouldn't say actually Korean. He's actually an Australian, but both his parents are of Korean descent. So he won the tournament there over Scotty Scheffler. His older sister is actually an LPGA Tour player as well, who's won tournaments, Lee Min-ji. But both of them actually represent Australia. But of course, they've also been representing Korea quite finely as well.
So maybe it's in the Korean blood.
I think it is.
Well, thank you very much, Jason, for that, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to see you next week.
Yes, I'll see you next week.
And thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Have a peaceful and safe weekend, and please join us again next week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.